Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Saturday. It is the 30th of October 2021. We're going to look at the stakes races on the program from Belmont, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me next week for my Breeders' Cup previews from Del Mar. But let's look at the stakes action here on Empire Showcase Day from Belmont. We'll be looking at races 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's going to be a very rainy day here in New York, so make sure you handicap for a wet track. I know I did, and it's just it's going to be a fun day, and for some reason it's always sloppy on Empire Classic Day. I don't know what it is, but let's look at the stakes action. Starting off with the third race from Belmont, which is the Sleepy Hollow. It's going for a purse of $250,000, race for 2-year-olds here, New York breds, like all these races are. Field is 6 horses going to the post. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground here of 1 mile on the Belmont main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here in the Sleepy Hollow. Top selection, we're going to go with the number 2 horse, Overstep. 2-4-3-1 for me in the superfecta. 2-4-3-1 super. Top selection of 2 horse, Overstep. This 2-year-old Colt Bane to the mischief. Top Fletcher trains. Iroquois Jr. gets the mount. He's only started once, but that one start was impressive on the 25th of September here at Belmont. 6 furlongs in the main special weight for 75,000, facing state breds, and he won by 6 3/4 lengths. A little bit wide from a little bit wide post draw, but he stalked, he got the lead, and he kept going. Geared down late, 75 cents to the dollar. That was a very good run. Coming here second off the bench, has speed. The little question will be the slop, but I think, when the track's sloppy here at Belmont, the speed really holds up, especially on this day, I've noticed. I think he can really run a good race. Most recent workout patterns have been very impressive. 5 furlongs on the train track, 101 and 2/5 of a second, and a 5 furlong workout, 102 flat, 10th best workout, 19. And right after the race, last time out, a half mile in 49 and 1. So I think he's on the up and up. Facing the biggest test today, he's a speedy horse. I expect him to really run a good race here today. I'm going to single him in the early pick 5 and 4. But to recap my selection for the third from Belmont, Sleepy Hollow, let's take the 2 horse, Overstep. And the only real way to make money with this race will be hitting the superfecta. So we'll go 2-4-3-1 in the superfecta. Play straight for $1. 2-4-3-1. So let's get to the 5th race today, which is the Hudson Handicap. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. State breds. 9 horses are going to the post. The distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground here of 6.5 furlongs on the Belmont main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs in the Hudson. And, if you've been upstate to, where is it? I want to say it's like 2 hours away, something like that, from New York City, to the town of Hudson. It's a beautiful place. A lot of good antique shops there if you're interested in that. We bought a very nice table for the dining room there last summer. Great place. And of course we have the Hudson River, of course. But top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 1 horse, Judge and Jury. 1-4-3-8 in the superfecta. 1-4-3-8 super. Top selection, 1 horse, Judge and Jury. 3-year-old filly by Tapiture. Danny Gargan trains. Luis Saez gets the mount. The horse is most recent out game 3rd of October here at Belmont. 3/4 mile and opposite 45. Back to state breds. Back to allowance quality horses. He freed by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He was a little bit wide, sat back early, but he got the job done very nicely in the lane. Geared down late, an all-around good race, considered to the race before where he ran the Allen Jerkins at Saratoga. 7 furlongs on the 28th of August, and he finished 6th by 35.5 lengths. He was with Jackie's Warrior early on, who was a monster on the front end, quickened up nicely, 1 extra down. This horse just went getting into him very wide and just completely crumbled. It wasn't his day to win. Not a grade 1 quality horse. And then prior to that, Saratoga, 7 furlongs in the allowance race, 90,000. First time facing all the horses. First start in 11 months. The horse went by 8.5 lengths, and he was, he was gearing to go that day. He was a little bit wide, but again, he won for fun there. And then a final start of 2020 at Saratoga, 6.5 in the main special weight, winning by 1 1/4 lengths. Again, he got the job done, but he was vanned off after that race. Something must have went amiss, but so that's why you didn't see the horse for 11 months after that. But he's really improved since that race. Back to state breds. State bred stakes quality horses. I think he's sitting on a very good run, training well at Saratoga. Let's take him here. So to recap my selection for the 5th from Belmont's the Hudson Handicap, let's take the 1 horse, Judge and Jury. 1-4-3-8 in the superfecta. The 6th race, it is the Iroquois Stakes. Purse $150,000. Races for state bred fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Only 6 horses here, but it's a classy 6-horse field going 1,300 meters, or the 6.5 furlong trip on the Belmont main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs here in the Iroquois. My top selection, we're going to go with the number 4 horse. Let me take this call. I'm going to go 4621 in the superfecta. 4621 super top selection. Let me take this call. This 6-year-old mare by Take Charge Indy. James Farrar trains this one. Kendra Carmouche gets the mount. The horse's most recent out came with the Finger Lakes on the 4th of October. Sloppy Seal going 3/4 mile on the Arctic Queen. The horse finished third by 16 1/4 lengths there, and he just couldn't keep up off the bench. There were a lot speedier horses, and he just wasn't getting going. Coming back to Belmont, where he's run very well in the past, second off the bench, I'm expecting him to really run a good race today. 2-bagger win on the 27th of March at Aqueduct, 6.5 furlongs in the extra heat, and the horse won by 9 1/4 lengths and basically in the front, and he only had 3 other rivals, but at 40 cents a dollar. He just freaked that day, an all-around good race. And then the 28th of February at Aqueduct, 7 furlongs on the slop and optional 80. He finished 4th by 3 lengths there, and he was very wide and just not excelling. Maybe just not liking the slop. He didn't like to stop a few starts before that, but maybe that day he just wasn't getting into it. And then the 18th of January, he ran at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs op 62, won by 3 1/4 lengths. From the starting position, he had everything his own way there. And then on the slot before that, New Year's Eve, in a 6 furlong allowance race, 82,000, facing, he won by 2 1/4 lengths. And again, sitting back early, he basically jumped by easily late on the slop. He has a good sloppy track record, winning nearly half his races on it. He's training well, second off the bench at 6-1 with a very good speed favoring rider up. I'm going to take him here. The 6-horse Espresso Shot could definitely win also if there's a little bit of pace meltdown. Some of her wet track races aren't bad. I do like to cut back to 6.5. She's training well. We'll use her in the multis, but I prefer the other one before her. But to recap my selection for the 6 from Belmont, it is the Iroquois. So let's take the 4 horse. Let me take this call. Give kudos to the 6 horse Espresso Shot for 6-2-1 super. 4-6 in the multi race. Let's get to race number 7 from Belmont, which is the Maid of Stakes. It's going for a purse $250,000. Race for 2-year-old filly state breds. 10 horses are going to the post at the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Belmont main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile main track. My top selection, we're going to go with the number 6 horse here, Sue Ellen Michigan, 6-7-1-9 in the superfecta, 6-7-1-9 super. Top selection, the 6 horse Sue Ellen Michigan. There's cheerfully by Mohiman, Jorge Abreu who trains. Luis Saez gets to mount. The horse's most recent I came to spin away at Saratoga. Good main track, 7/8 mile, 5th of September. He wasn't excelling. He finished 7 by 29 3/4 lengths and just had nothing. Didn't break well. Hit the gate going out of it. Behind the able, brought even 10 times wider there. And that's basically a race where you show jockeys that's not how you ride a race, because he just wasn't getting into it. Coming here, lesser quality horses should improve off of that race. I expect him to run a lot better. 2 back on the 13th of August, Saratoga, 6 furlongs in the state bred main special 85,000. The horse won by 7 1/4 lengths, and again, he didn't break so well, but he stalked, he got the lead, and he got the job done with urging late. A very good run. He's training well. I'm going to give him another chance after that fiasco last time out. 4-1, let's take him. Probably one of the most wide open races here. The 7 horse Velvet Sister could definitely win also, and the Joe Gimma most recently, here a month ago, the horse Placeman Classy Edition, who freaked, and then had a decent place before then, seeking the ante. Coming back here with a great pedigree, it won't surprise me if this horse gets the job done. And the 1 horse Aventi Valentine, another Abreu horse, drawn very well considered the last race where the horse was drawn in the parking lot. Not even in the parking lot, it was drawn in the arena at Belmont, but still to win from where he came from, I thought that was a good race and debut. Coming here with a better posture, he should really improve off that run. At 3-1, we'll use him in the multi-race. Like I said, very, very wide open stakes race. So to recap my selection for the 7 from Belmont, it's the Maid of Mist. Let's take the 6 horse Sue Ellen Michigan, give kudos to the 7 horse Velvet Sister, and the 1 horse Venti Valentine, 6-7-1-9 super, 6-7-1. in the multi-race. And if you're wondering, where are these turf races on this program, like the Mohawk and the Ticonderoga? They moved them to next weekend because of the rain, and I think that's a smart decision because you don't want to run these races on a very soft turf courses where, not all the horses have the great advantage. And a lot of people were pissed off about that. I don't know why, but good that they're going to run them next week here at Belmont. And November racing at Belmont for the second year in a row. And I think next week will be the latest Belmont's ever run in their history. So that's going to be exciting. But let's get to the eighth race from Belmont, which is the Empire Distaff Handicap. It's going for a purse $250,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. 10 horses are going to the main track. The distance of ground here, 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground, or excuse me, 1,700 meters, or a mile 16th on the main track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th here in the Empire Distaff Handicap. Hopefully I don't lose my voice. I lost my voice early this week for some reason. I don't know why. But top selection here. I'm going to go with the number 10 horse, who is Trinity Luck. 10-4 1-6 in the superfecta, 10-4-1-6 super, top selection, 10 horse Trinity Luck. This 4-year-old filled by Trini Berg. Manny Franco gets on this one for Rudy Rodriguez. The horse is most recent out came mid-September here at Belmont, a mile 16th in an allowance race, 92,000, and winning by 5.5 lengths. He didn't break that well, but after that was the troubles of his race because he went to the front end and set some quick fractions, but he kept going and geared down late. That was a very good run going through a rounding trip. Coming here a mile 16th on a sloppy track, which is even more speed favoring at Belmont at times. I think this horse should really run a good race. 2 back and ups, 45 in Saratoga, 7/8 on the 11th of August. He won by 3.25 lengths, and again, broke on top, very quick fractions, and he just kept going. A very, very easy race. Then the beginning of the winning streak at Belmont, 6.5 in allowance race, 80,000. He went by 5.5 lengths, and again, he just kept going. He's really running these great races as of recently, really improving. Stakes quality horses for the first time on a sloppy track where he ran well in his debut in July 2020. I like this horse a lot at 7-2, so we'll use her. You also have to use the 4 horse here, Make Mischief. Getting some clash release from the last few races. Very good place last time out in the Fleet Indian at Saratoga, where she just couldn't get the 2-turn mile in the 8th. I do think the 1-turn mile 16th here at Belmont should really suit her well. Her race in the Acorn wasn't bad against those very tough horses, and some of the races at Aqueduct last winter weren't bad at all. Like I said, she could definitely get a piece, but at 9-2 we'll use her in the multi-race. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Belmont, it's the Empire Distaff Handicap. Let's take the number 10 horse Trinity Luck as a top selection. Give kudos to the 4 horse Make Mischief. 10-4-1-6 super, 10-4 in your multi-race. The featured 9th race now from Belmont. It is the Empire Classic Handicap. It's going for a purse of $300,000. Race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. State breds here. We have a field of 8 horses going to the main track. They're going the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or the distance of ground of a mile 1/8 on the Belmont main track. 1,800 meters. A mile and 1/8. And, this is always, a fun, exciting race. And, I went to this day at Belmont many, many times as a kid. And, you just always saw some great horses. I remember seeing Haynesfield win this race twice. One of my favorite horses, Spike the Devil, won this race twice in like 2003 or 4. Stud Muffin won it. Some great New York breds went on to have some great races, great careers in this race. Mr. Buff, who's running it today, won the last 2 or 3 runnings of it. Royal Posse was a very good horse for Rudy Rodriguez a few years ago, won this race. He went on to win the Claiming Crown a few times at Gulfstream also. So it's, like I said, always an exciting race. And I think you have an exciting runner running in it. The 5 horse American Revolution, my top selection, 5-2-8-3 in the superfecta for me. 5-2-8-3 super, top selection of 5 horse American Revolution, 3-year-old called by Constitution. Top Fletcher trains. Luis Saez gets them out. Most recently, they ran the horse in the Pennsylvania Derby at Parks, mile and 8th on the 25th of September, and the horse finished 3rd by 6 3/4 lengths there, and he just, had a little bit of a wide post draw and just wasn't keeping up. 1-turn mile and 8th here at Belmont should suit him well. A little question with the sloppy track, but I think he should really run well. 2 back against State Breds in the Albany at Saratoga, mile and 8th, winning by 5. He sat back early, he got the lead, and then it was just easy money home late. A very, very good race there. And then the New York Derby at the Finger Lakes, mile 16th in July. First time routing, second off the bench, winning by 7 1/4 lengths. It wasn't the world's toughest race, but again, he won easily. And then a Belmont and Maid special for State Breds at 3/4 mile in mid-June, winning by a neck. He had abused a lot that day, probably at the trip he didn't like, but he still got the job done. Mile 8 is up his alley. He has the speed here. Big question is the slop, but I think he could really run a good race, so we're going to use him here. The 2-horse Three Jokers is your wise guy horse. I do like him on the slop, and I thought his most recent races, he's really been improving a lot, and I think he could find some hidden form here today. He also likes Belmont Park. We'll use him at 6-1, possibly to blow up this late pick 5. But to recount my selection for the 9th from Belmont, it's the Empire Classic Handicap. We'll take the 5-horse American Revolution, give kudos to the 2-horse Three Jokers, 5-2, 8-3 Super, 5-2. In the multi-race to end it off. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.